Welcome to the Ghost Radio Station. This channel will share with you various horror and ghost stories and real paranormal activities or incidents and mysteries from around the world. So, please don't forget to subscribe to get regular story updates. But every time I mentioned, there is no scientific evidence to support the existence of ghosts. So it is up to each person to believe in ghost stories or not. So, I am starting the story now. My church was built in 1875, so it'll be 150 years old next year. It's a big church and has 3 levels, but most paranormal activity happens on the top floor where the sanctuary and offices are. Directly off the sanctuary is a meeting or lunchroom. We call it the GPR room. The choir members wait to come out to service in the room, and all the committees meet there too. A lot of activities happen here. None of the ghosts truly like crowds. But my mother cleans the church, and I will help her, so often I'm in the church with very few other living people. All this activity has happened in the last 3 years of going to this church. Story number 1. Whispering Man. In the GPR room, there's a male ghost who whispers in your ear, like directly into it, and there's no warning, so he scares you every time. His tone sounds confused and like he's asking a question. He'll repeat the question a minute or so later if you don't talk back to him. But the thing is, you can't understand the words as they are muffled, so you have to tell him, "Sorry sir, I can't understand you," and then he'll repeat the question or leave. He only talks to you if you are alone in the GPR room. Only once did he speak to me when there was another person in the room. At least me, my mother, and my sister have experienced the Whispering Man. I've heard him about 4 times now. Story number 2. Chatty Ladies. In the sanctuary, there used to be 2 fancy green felted wooden chairs directly behind the altar. When the altar area was renovated, the green chairs were moved to a different area of the sanctuary. Sometimes I'd hear laughter and a conversation coming from the area where the chairs are located to feminine voices. And I'd hear their voices and the pauses between one lady talking and another answering back to her. Sadly, again their words were muffled, and the chairs were recently sold, so I haven't heard them in a while. I'm the only one who has experienced them. Story number 3. The Little Girl. There's a little girl who's probably no older than 8 years, who is the only ghost that you can actually see. She wears a white dress that, from Googling, dates back to the late 1800s, early 1900s. And Shirley Temple curls. She appears like a physical person, but grey like in a black and white movie. She often plays and giggles at the back of the sanctuary. But one night last fall, I was sitting in the GPR room practicing music for choir, and I looked up in the doorway to the hallway. Because I thought I saw something, and I definitely did. The little girl was pinching the sides of her dress up, so she didn't trip, and twirling around and around, watching her dress catch the air and blow up a giant smile on her face. I sat there watching her and smiled, myself mesmerized by the pure joy she was having as the pianist played the song. The ghost girl looked up and saw me watching her, and just as quickly as I noticed her, she suddenly vanished with the blink of an eye. My mother and sister have heard her giggle, and my mother saw her, we think, well, more a swoosh of her dress as she went running across the back of the sanctuary, where she plays. I have a few more stories to tell, but I'll save those for later.